What's up, dudes? Hey guys, alright, I know, there's no excuse. There's no excuse because I'm just gonna say it. You know what, it is what it is. I've been busy, and because I've been busy, when I'm not busy, I get lazy, okay? So, that's why I haven't made a video. Yes, my last video was the Star Wars movie review, and it's been a while. I'm sorry. The reason why I'm making this video is because lately I've been getting more tattoos, and for some reason, the more tattoos you have, the more people approach you to ask you about your tattoos. Recently, quite often, I've been approached about my tattoos. A couple of them specifically. Ones that I usually would get, asked about, and then some new ones that people are like, oh, that's pretty cool, whatever, like who tattoos you, etc., etc. So yeah, I decided to make this video explaining my tattoos. Just, if you care, keep on watching. If you don't, click out of it. It is what it is. Alright, so check this out. I'm gonna go in, I'll try to go in chronological order from like the first tattoo that I ever got to my last one. I don't quite remember in what order I got certain ones, so bear with me. I might be a little bit off in timeline, but who cares, right? It doesn't matter. First tattoo that I ever got. Okay, so that was my first tattoo, this seagull. So, no, it's not the Hollister seagull, okay? No, I don't love Hollister. No, I'm not like obsessed with it, so, to the point where I would get tattooed. Come on now, alright? Do I look like, come on. Alright, so, no, it's not the Hollister seagull. I actually got this seagull before I even knew what Hollister was. I got the seagull, so I drew it. I drew the seagull. I know. And the seagull represents my mom. My mom's favorite animal is the seagull. And the reason being is not because, they're assholes and like fucking, I don't even know how fucking seagulls go. But anyway, because they're kind of dicks, okay? Like, seagulls are kind of assholes. I live in the Bay Area, so I go to San Francisco a lot, and San Francisco's filled with them, and they're dicks, okay? But she likes them because of the way they fly. If you think about the way a seagull flies compared to, I don't know if any other bird, but most birds tend to like, flap their wings like all the time. That's the only way that they can fly, like just keep on flapping their wings. Whereas seagulls, they reach a certain altitude and they kind of just hover, you know what I mean? They kind of just chill and kick back, after they flap their wings and go as high as they could, they kind of just let the wind, you know what I mean, just kick it. So that's the reason why she likes them, because of that freedom, that they don't have to, keep on moving their wings. They as soon as they reach, they float, they relax, it's a sign of like peace for my mom. My mom and myself went through, our time when I was 7 years old. My father, he passed away. So, the seagull kind of represented, to my mom and myself, kind of like a moment, like peace, like after flapping our wings, after trying to, living through that bad shit, just being able to, hover and find that peace. So that's why I got that seagull. So, I did it. I got it done because it was my first tattoo ever, and it's kind of, but I did it because for my mom, in a sense, because it does represent my mom, but also because it was my first tattoo, and my mom doesn't like tattoos, so it's like, it was kind of one of those things where I was like, oh look mom, I got my first tattoo, but it's for you, so you should be okay with it. So yeah, I kind of played my mom a little bit there, but whatever, you know, it's my first tattoo. All right. My second tattoo was actually these stars and the writing, which says libertad. In English means freedom, and the 4 stars. So originally, you know, my arm was looking a little bit lonely, you know, just that fucking seagull. Literally with a Sharpie, I drew 4 stars and wrote libertad. Libertad, again, means freedom, and that's kind of what the seagull represents, you know, that freedom, that peacefulness, that, you know, freedom from all the bullshit that, you know, both my mom and I went through with my dad and all that. So yeah, so, you know, what better fucking word to describe the seagull, because people would be like, what is that, you know what I mean? Is that the Hollister seagull? I was like, what the fuck's a Hollister seagull? So then I decided to just kind of mask it, you know, with that. The 4 stars, I mean, it's through the years it's lost its meaning, okay? Just because, you know, originally it meant something and then it meant something else, but originally what it symbolized my brother, myself, my mom, and my father figure now. But honestly, like, it kind of got lost, the meaning. Don't ask me why, because to be honest, I don't even know why. It kind of didn't feel like that's, you know, 4 stars was what should represent that, you know. Like I said, at first it was kind of like, oh, well, you know, I'll get 4 stars, one representing, you know, each of us. But now it just, I don't know, like, it just does not feel like this should be representing it. So I'm looking into like a new tattoo or something that actually does. The next tattoo I got, if I recall, is my shears, my hair cutting shears. And I mean, it's self-explanatory. I love cutting hair, and I got them when I was going to school for hair. I was actually going to cosmetology school at first because I want to be a hairstylist. I didn't want to be a barber, but that's a whole nother story. But anyway, so, you know, I was going to school, and it was kind of one of those things where I was coming back on Caltrain from school, I think, yeah, in San Mateo. And I'm walking down the street, and this dude comes up to me. He's like, hey, like, let me check out your tattoo. And so, like, you know, I showed him it was just this, you know. And so he goes, yo, like, I tattoo at this shop, like, right around the corner. Like, I'll hook you up if you want a tattoo. And so I was just like, it was a spur of the moment thing. And I was like, fuck it, let's go, dude. Like, we out. Like, let's go. So he's like, well, what do you want? I'm like, well, I want scissors, like hair cutting scissors, you know, because I'm going to school for it, and like that's kind of like my passion. He goes, oh, right on, dude. So, you know, we went to the shop, he tattooed me. It was dope. It was a super spur of the moment thing, so I was pretty happy with it. You know, and they're dear to my heart because that was my first tattoo where it symbolized like me, you know, and what I like to do. After that, I'm pretty sure I got there you go, this cross right here. So it says La Vita è. It's in Italian, which means life is. Now I even put like the little 3 dots, you know, like life is what, right? And a lot of people ask me like, well, life is what? Like, why did you not complete it? You know, and it's on a cross, like, why? As many as you know, like, I'm a very religious person. God is like my number 1 dude. He's my best friend. He's my dude. You know what I mean? I'm very in tune with God and everything. So, you know, it was like my first tattoo that represented my spirituality. You know what I mean? My religion, like my beliefs. I put that cross there with La Vita è, which life is. The reason why it's in Italian is because if you guys don't know, I'm obsessed with anything Italian. Anything that is Italy, I love, okay? Like Italian soccer, Italian food, Italian women. But anything Italian, I love. And it sucks because I've never been to Italy, which is in my bucket list. I have to do it. But anyway, so I did it because, you know, it's a cross representing God. And I put life is because God gives you life and he doesn't define it. You know, no one defines it. You define your own life. So it's like life is whatever it is that you make out of your life. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's one of those things where it's just like you have that freedom to do anything out of life. So life is fun. Life is, you know, whatever. Life is happy. Life is sad. Life is anything, you know. So you make out of life whatever it is that you make out of it. So, you know, it's just a constant reminder of like, you know, God gave you life and you better do something with it. And whatever you do with it, that's on you. You know what I mean? Because you have that power to make life whatever it is that you want. So yeah, I got that. I actually drew that tattoo myself. Again, one of those nights where I was just like, I want a tattoo, whatever. So I just drew a cross, and you know, they cleaned it up a bit and stuff and added the shadows and everything, but it was pretty much my design. Then the next tattoo that I got, which kind of ties into a funny story. But so the next tattoo that I got was this one. That's my Day of the Dead girl. It's this one of those tattoos that people come up to me and are like, oh my god, like that's really cool, like that's really nice. Now, yes, do I think it's a nice tattoo? Yes. Do I think it could be better? Of course. Now, I don't think it's like the best tattoo I have, but a lot of people seem to get attracted by that one. Now, I like it, okay? Don't get me wrong, I like it. Was that the original idea, how I had pictured it in my head when I first wanted it? No. Do I like it? Yes. But I have a couple problems with it. It's a fucking floating head on my arm, okay? And the positioning to the cross, like aligned to the cross, it looks kind of weird. I don't know, it's just my opinion. But, she's nice. The reason why I got her is because I'm Mexican, and I didn't want. And I mean, I'm not hating, all right? I'm not hating. If you have these tattoos, like, hey, more power to you. That's fine. I just personally didn't want to represent Mexico with like the fucking flag or like an eagle. You know what I mean? Like an Aztec fucking whatever. Like that's not my thing, you know. So I wanted to put something that represents my culture, you know, and you know, Mexican culture, the Day of the Dead, man, Dia de los Muertos, dude, like that represents Mexico, you know what I mean? That's definitely a Mexican thing. So, I decided to put a Day of the Dead girl, you know what I mean? Like, she's, you know, she just represents my culture. But like I said, but my only concern, my only issue with it is the fact that it's just a floating head. So I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with her. If I want to, you know, add the rest of the body, like down here, or add flowers. I don't know. I'm still trying to, because it kind of bothers me that it's just a floating head on my arm. My next tattoo after that. I remember my next tattoo after that. Okay, so that's why I said it ties into a kind of a funny story. So this tattoo I got done, and I mean, like, again, look at it. It's somewhat nice. It's decent, okay? So I got this done by this dude. So, okay, at the time I was hanging out with like a group of dudes here where I live. And one of my buddies, he goes, dude, like my friend, he tattoos. He's a tattoo artist. And like, I know that you like tattoos. He's tattooed me before. So, you know, if you ever want, like, I can, you know, he can hook you up. And I'm like, all right, on, cool, you know. So then I met this guy, you know, talking to him and seeing his book, and it wasn't, you know, it wasn't bad. It was pretty good. And I was like, hey, man, like, you know, I have this idea of, like, the Day of the Dead girl, whatever. And he goes, yeah, totally, I'll do it for you. So, I went to his house, okay? I know. I went to his house and got it done there. Now, I was very happy with it, okay? Like, I was cool with it. I was like, yeah, right on. Like, this is dope. And a couple, you know, months later, you know, I had the idea. I'm like, you know, I want something that represents. So there was a time in my life, a moment where I was very young. I was maybe about like 7 or 8 years old, and my mom got really sick. She got, I think, gastritis, and I think that's how you say it, right? I don't know. I'm not sure. But anyway, it was like she wasn't dying or anything, but you know, she got sick. To the point where she had to go to the hospital and stuff. So, you know, because I was very young, it got to a moment where I thought my mom was dying. And me having just lost my dad, it was kind of one of those things where I was just like freaking out, you know. I was like, man, like my mom is gonna be gone too, like fuck. So this was right after Christmas. And, you know, Santa Claus came and brought me my presents and stuff. And then my mom got sick. So, I remember this. My mom was in the living room, and she was, you know, just laying down on the couch, like, you know, not feeling her best. And I grabbed all my toys, everything that like Santa Claus had brought me, and I put it in front of my mom, and I was like, Mom, like, I'll give you all my toys, like everything that Santa brought me, I'll give them to you, but just please get better, you know. And my mom just started crying, like, because it was just, you know, it was like a noble thing to do for me, I guess, at the time. And, you know, I told my mom, I went to my room and I drew a rose. And I brought it to her, and I was like, Mom, like, you know, to me, you're the flower, you're the rose that will never die. You know, you're a flower to me, but you're the flower that will never die. So that kind of stuck with me and my mom, you know. It was kind of like our thing, you know, every birthday and stuff. And I would, you know, give her either, you know, flowers or roses or whatever, but I would always give her a fake one, you know, because it'll never die. So it became our thing, you know, that she was the flower that will never die for me. So, you know, into talking, you know, I had gotten this by the dude, and I was like, hey man, I have this other idea, you know, I want 3 roses, you know, one representing, you know, me, one representing my mom, and one representing my father figure, who's still, you know, my father figure. You know, I want this, you know, and saying love remains, you know, because the love that we have still remains, you know, even though, you know, him and my mom aren't together or anything, but, you know, it's just, there's love, you know, that remains there. So, I wanted to put it on my arm, so he goes, yeah, dude, like, right on, like, let's do it, you know. So I went over to his house again, and he drew it up, and it looked nice, okay? So then he starts tattooing me, and the guy is taking, so it was 3 roses, and then a banner up top that says love, and then a banner on the bottom that says remains. Now, when he's doing it, the dude he's heavy-handed, man, and he's taking super long on the roses and not even really getting the banners started. And it's frustrating me because it's like, it's fucking hurting. Like, now it's hurting. Like, he's overworking my skin because he's so heavy-handed, and yet he hasn't even done the banners yet. Like, it's still not even finished. So I'm just like, oh man, like, I don't even know how long I'm gonna be able to withstand that pain anymore, you know. So he's, you know, he's doing it, and like, he does, like, he kind of starts the top of the banner, and then he kind of does a couple lines on the bottom, and he starts like writing, like he writes, he doesn't even write the word love on top, but he kind of starts the remain, like he starts the R and the E on the bottom. And it got to the point where, like, the dude, every time, like, he would put the needle to my skin, like, my arms started shaking, like, I just started, like, sweating, because the dude just, yeah, just no, right? So I'm like, yo, tap out, like, I'm fucking done, like, I can't, like, if you put the needle in my skin one more time, I'm gonna punch you in the face, like, I can't do this. You took way too long on the roses, dog, like, what the hell? Oh, yeah, no, I just wanted to make it good, whatever, right? So I'm like, hey, I tap out, I can't. So he goes, all right, well, let it heal. Okay, give it like a month. Hit me back up and we'll finish it. I'm like, right on, let's do it. So you know, I left with like the rose is done, but like the banner is like not like a line here, 2 lines, like it was shit. So I leave, I give it a month, my tattoo heals completely. I hit him back up, no response, no nothing. Okay, so to not make the story any longer, I walked around with a fucking unfinished tattoo for a year and a half. Okay, with like a shit fucking tattoo for a year and a half. Finally, after a whole year and a half, I get a hold of the guy and I'm like, hey, what the fuck, dude? Like, you never responded to my shit. Like, what's going on? He's like, oh yeah, I don't know, you know, I'm sorry. It's just, I had to leave the country and come back. And I'm like, oh man, well, can you finish it? He goes, yeah. Don't worry, dude. Like, I'll finish it for you. So, he's like, dude, just, you know, he's like, I'm out of needles. I'm out of like stuff. So just, you know, give me $30 and I'll finish it. I'm like, all right, cool. I get to his spot, no answer. And I'm like, this asshole stood me up again. Because let me mention, I had gone. He had told me like, during that year and a half, he's like, oh yeah, come through my house and stuff. He lives far, so I had to like take the train and stuff. That asshole never answered, so I had to come back home, whatever. So this finally, you know, this second time, I go and I'm like, yo, like, he's not gonna answer. And finally he answers. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, I was just, you know, like in the bathroom, whatever. So I'm like, yo, just please finish it, you know. So I see he starts going over the roses again. I'm like, yo, like, you're gonna do this shit again? Like, stop going over the fucking roses. Like, finish my banners, dude. Like, come on. No, it's because I have to go through the whole thing. At this time, there was, you know, they had just happened, you know, something had happened that just changed my life. I never talk about it, but it changed my life for the better. Like, it was an amazing thing that happened to me. So I wanted to get it tattooed, the date. And I was like, hey, well, adding to the fucking tattoo, can you add the date on the bottom? He goes, yeah, totally, dude. So he starts tattooing me. And I'm just trying to focus on just like, hey, like, finally this is getting finished. So I'm not even looking at the fucking tattoo. Now, I'm going to show you guys the tattoo. And it's probably my most embarrassing tattoo. And it sucks because it's my biggest. Now, I am looking into like getting it covered. Getting something done to it. Because this is the tattoo that I am... probably that I regret the most. And it sucks because the meaning that I had behind it, it was so important to me, and yet it ended up looking like shit. Okay, so keep in mind, he did it at his house. Same dude that did this, okay, ended up doing this. Okay, now that's supposed to say love, and that's supposed to say remains, and those are supposed to be fucking roses. Right, now this is the date, 9/19/12. Now if you see it, first of all, the 9s look like a fucking, like, G's, okay? Like the letter G. And if you see it, if you can see it more if I do this. This 9 is way smaller than this 2. So even when I extend it like this, you can see the difference in size. Okay, the 1s are not even like the same. And the tattoo ends up being so dark, okay? Like, yeah, you can kind of tell that they're roses, but you can't even read the banner. Like that, like, what the fuck, dude? Okay? Like, that's terrible. So, this is my biggest tattoo, and it sucks, alright? Like, I'm scarred, actually. Like, he scarred me. So, it's just one of those things where it's like, the dude that did this? Like, no way, right? But unfortunately, that's the case. So now, after I got done with it, I was like, what the hell did you do? What is this? He goes, I finished it. I was like, no, fuck that, dude. What the hell is that shit? He goes, what? I was like, he's like, well, you know, it's going to be $30. I was like, go fuck yourself, man. I'm not paying you shit. What the fuck is this? Like, you just fucked me up. Totally. Screwed me. What the hell is this, you know? So I just left. Never talk to the guy again, okay? Like, he like unfriended me on Facebook, and I was like, fuck this guy, man. Like, now I have to walk around with this shit. So it's like, when I wear tank tops, like, if it's too hot, I'm always like, fuck, like this one, you know? So I'm definitely looking forward to like covering this up or doing something with it, because yeah, fuck that. And I'm not trying to get it lasered off, because that shit's another fucking type of pain that I'm not dealing with. I don't want to deal with. So don't get tattooed at a house unless you're like, you know this person and like, you know that they're a tattoo artist and they work at a shop, or please, all right? And I'm super lucky that I didn't get like fucking hepatitis or fucking some disease. I mean, the guy was clean. He like opened this needle in front of me, everything, but just, he's, as an artist, no, I'm sorry, but this is good, this is bad. I don't know how the same guy did that, but whatever. Anyway, moving on. The next tattoos that I got was actually, this, my Rebel 8. So there you go. Now Rebel 8 is a brand. Rebel 8 is a brand based out of San Francisco. And the reason why I got it is, again, it's kind of one of those things like representing my home, you know, the Bay Area, San Francisco, you know, and San Francisco culture. But it also represents what the brand represents, which is tattoo culture, skateboarding, music, you know, and I love all that. You know, tattoos, I love tattoos, you know, music, you know, I love music. And, you know, skateboarding, I used to like really love it, you know, graffiti, like all that art, you know what I mean, like that street kind of vibe to it, I love it. So, and I've always been obsessed. Like, their logo is so fucking sick, man. Like, you know, I know it's just an 8 with a diamond, but come on, like, it's so sick. Like, it's super rad. You know, you can't not love it. Instead of getting something like San Francisco, like, tattooed on me, like, Rebel 8, you know, it's a brand that I love, you know, that I represent, that I rock, like, a lot, and, you know, it represents where I'm from. You know, he started selling shirts out of his backpack, you know, Joshy, like, he fucking $500, man, to make shirts, and that's kind of how he did it, you know, riding his bike around the city. Like, that's so sick, you know, it's coming up, and now, like, look where he is, you know, like, the brand and everything, like, so dope, you know. And Mike Giant, he's, like, an amazing artist, so just, yeah, that's why I got it. And it was cool, though, because I got, when I posted it on Instagram, when I got it, like, both Mike Giant and Joshy, like, they liked my shit, and, like, they commented on it. It was dope. I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. So, yeah, so that was my next one. After that, that's kind of when I took, then after that, so I got, before this one, I forget. Okay, well, anyway, see, I told you I would mess up with the fucking timeline. But anyway, I got this tattoo, this little diamond tattoo. Now, it's an angry diamond. What does it mean? It means absolutely fucking nothing, okay? It was just one of those moments where my mom used to work with this girl who, you know, aside from the job that she had, she was apprenticing to be a tattoo artist. And, you know, she needed clients, you know, for her book. So I was like, hey, like, I'm down, like, tattoo me if you want, you know? And she's like, ah, right on, cool. So, you know, I got to her spot, and she's like, well, what do you want? And I'm like, well, I don't know. I kind of just, it kind of caught me off guard, so I don't know. And so she had a bag, and it had the Tokidoki. It was a Tokidoki. It was a brand. It's a Japanese brand with, I don't even know exactly for what. I think it's clothing, makeup. It's a bunch of shit. But it has little characters. And I was like, yo, like, that's dope. Like, that's kind of cool. You know, it's a little, like, diamond with, like, an angry face. It's kind of cute, but, you know, whatever. It's kind of silly. I was like, yo, let's get that. She, like, they were like, yeah, really? Yeah, fucking let's do it. Just go. So she did it, and, you know, it's not the greatest tattoo. You know, it has, like, you know, blotchy spots here and there, but it's, kids like it, okay? Some people think it's a carrot. I don't know how you get a carrot from that. It's a diamond, but, you know, and I've thought about covering it up, but then again, it's just kind of one of those tattoos that is just like, why'd you get it? I don't know, it's just silly, you know, it's a fucking angry diamond, why not? Anyway, so after that, I got this. So it's a straight razor. Now, I got this done by my friend Zumbi, Zumbi Nation on Instagram. He's a really cool tattoo artist. He lives in Fresno, so his shop is in Fresno. It's Zumbi Nation Tattoo in Fresno. I got that done by him, and now, if you can tell, so it's a straight razor, and it says villain, and right here you could see a hidden Mickey. right there, right? Now this was my first traditional tattoo, and the reason why I got it traditional is because I kind of, you know, in this whole time that I've been getting tattooed, like, I didn't really have like a style of tattoo that I really liked. I like black and gray, but that's kind of, you know, super generic. So I started just kind of reading more about like traditional and kind of falling in love with it. So I got it traditional because I wanted to start a traditional sleeve, aside from the diamond, you know. But so I got it. So now it's a straight razor again because I cut hair. I'm a barber, so you know that's what you use to shave people, you know. And I didn't want to get like fucking clippers or something, so I got a straight razor, you know, very classic, very, you know, old school straight razor, you know, wood, like it has that, you know, wood look to it and everything. So this represents me in the other side of me, which, you know, is, you know, it's a straight razor because I'm a barber, but it says villain because as many as you know, I started a social club, a Disney social club called the Disney's Villains. I've always loved villains. I've always loved the bad guys. As you can tell, see Darth Vader back there and everything. So I've always been into, like, you know, the bad guys and stuff. Never really liked any good guys. But so, you know, I put villain because, you know, I'm a barber, but I'm also, you know, a villain. You know, I like the villains and shit, even though I'm not a bad person, but I like the villains. And the Hidden Mickey because it's my love for Disney, you know. I absolutely love Disney. I'm a Disneyland, you know, annual pass holder. You know, I just love it. I love everything Disney, you know, anything that's related to it, just because I love the man behind the mouse, you know what I mean? Like, Walt Disney, he's just such an inspiration. So it's just kind of one of those things where I got it kind of representing, again, me, but that side of me, you know. It's like yeah, I have to be an adult and have a job, which is this, but at the same time though, I'm a kid at heart, and you know, I'm a villain, and I love Disney. So having said that, I had him do the poison apple in American traditional as well, because that's the logo of my club, the poison apple. I chose the poison apple because it represents the villains, you know what I mean? Like, it's like a very broad representation of a villain, you know, like that poison apple from Snow White. That one was done by Zumbi as well, so go check him out. Zumbi Nation tattoo in Fresno, California. He's dope. He's a rad dude, so check that out. So then after that, I'm like, you know what, like I've always loved hand tattoos. Okay, I know there's taboo when it comes to hands, because it's like, oh, you can't get a job, like that's commitment, you know, you're blasting your hands, like whatever. And I was like, you know, I want a hand tattoo, like so bad. So I decided to go the route of like, hey, like I'll do something small. So then I did these. So it's an anchor and a cross. Now it's not an upside down cross, okay? It was meant to be like for praying hands. It's right side up. Now if you, I know a lot of people are, oh, it's an upside down cross, it's diabolic, it's satanic. First of all, that's not the satanic cross. Okay, an upside down cross is not a satanic cross. It's the cross of St. Peter. And the reason why it's upside down is because when St. Peter got crucified, he felt like he wasn't worthy to be crucified like Jesus himself. So he got crucified upside down. Alright, so it's not a fucking satanic cross. Stop that hipster ass bullshit of like, oh, it's satanic. No, it's not. Alright, but anyway, that's aside from the point. I got the cross again because I'm very religious. And, you know, I pray a lot. So, you know, when you pray, put your hands like this, you know, the cross is there, you know. Honestly, like, that's why I got it on the side. And then I got the anchor because I've always loved, like, old school stuff, you know what I mean? Like the whole, like, old, like, sailor shit, like, you know, hence the American traditional and stuff. The sea, I've always loved it. So it was kind of one of those things where it's like, you know, I'm going to get an anchor tattoo to represent the sea, my love for all that, but also to represent like me, keeping me grounded. You know what I mean? Keeping me stable. I have a lot of anxiety. I have ADHD. You know, I have quite a bit of issues. But, you know, I always have to remind myself of okay, like, stay grounded, stay, you know, stable, because if not, just, you know, the current is going to take you away, and it can be bad, you know? So that kind of represents, you know, that's what the anchor represents for me. Staying anchored. So after that, I actually got my first Star Wars tattoo, which is this one. It's my Stormtrooper. Again, American traditional. I got this one done at MT Tattoos here in Redwood City. And yeah, it was my first Star Wars tattoo, man. I've always loved Star Wars. When I was younger, you know, I've always loved it. But when I was younger, when I was in high school, I was like too cool for it. So I just didn't ever say like, oh yeah, I'm a Star Wars. Because, you know, it was like, oh, you're a fucking nerd, you know, whatever. But now I'm 28 years old. I don't give a shit what people think. So that's why I got it, you know. I was like, yeah, Star Wars. And I've always loved Stormtroopers. The Stormtrooper helmet has always been my favorite. Like, out of any helmet, even the Kylo Ren helmet doesn't reach my love for the original Stormtrooper helmet. I hate clone troopers, by the way. I hate them. I don't like them. I don't like the design. It's just, I think it has a lot to do with the fact that they're the prequels, but I just don't like them. This is my shit right here, Stormtroopers. So that's, you know, kind of my first Star Wars tattoo. Which kind of started leading the way to this arm. This arm is going to be like more like Disney stuff and stuff, but I realized that since I'm going to be running out of space, I'm going to just kind of keep on doing it on this arm. Kind of, I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, so after that, I forgot to mention one. So I have one on my leg. So it's this one. Now, I actually tattooed myself. My friend Zumbi, when I was getting my Apple done, I really wanted to get, I just asked him, I was like, hey, have you ever tattooed yourself? Like, how does it feel? He goes, you want to try? I was like, yeah. So, you know, we're at his shop, and like, you know, he's teaching me kind of how to do it and everything with, like, you know, proper sanitation and everything, don't worry. And so I drew it, and again, I love the villains. I love Disney, and one of my favorite villains is Dr. Facilier from The Princess and the Frog. I don't know what there is about him, but I fucking like it. You know, I like him so much. So I decided to draw his hat. Now, like I said, it's kind of I drew it, you know, and I'm not like a huge artist or whatever. And I got it done on Friday the 13th, so that's why it has the 13 right there in the skull. So I drew it, and then I tattooed it on myself, and it's cool. Even though it's a shitty tattoo, because I'm not a tattoo artist, it has a very special meaning to it because it was me tattooing me. You know what I mean? Myself. Like, that was my work till the end. Like, my drawing, my hand, everything, you know, everything. So it was cool. So then after that, I decided, I was like, you know, like I said, I love hand tattoos. They're my favorite. And I was just like, you know what? I can do it. You know, I'm gonna do it. I don't care. Like, this is sick. And so Star Wars, you know, episode 7 came out. And even before the movie came out, I fell in love with Kylo Ren. Just because he seemed very different from any other villain out there. That I had seen, you know, he just seemed different. So there was something special about him. So, you know, after watching the movie, man, my love for him grew, you know, 1,000 times more, because he is different. You know, I've never seen a villain like that. He's so complex, you know. So, I really liked Kylo Ren. I have mad love for the guy. So I decided that I wanted to get Kylo Ren tattooed. Now, my buddy Matt from MT Tattoos here in Redwood City, again, check him out because he's so sick. He's dope. But he posted on something on Instagram. It was like a contest, and it was a picture. So you had to make a picture that included his logo for his shop, and if you whoever got the most likes on the picture would get a free tattoo, $200 tattoo. So this was Super Bowl weekend, and it was within 3 days. Within 3 days, whoever got the most likes. Now I had screenshotted the thing, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna do it, and I had totally forgotten about it. So then the last day to submit, I was like, oh shit, like, damn. So then I made the picture, and I made a picture of, it was the scene where Luke is carrying Yoda on his back. So I put like different ones, and it was like, oh, like that's not my, like that's not my lightsaber or whatever. Like, so I don't remember exactly what it was. Like, go on my Instagram and check it out. But Matt loves Star Wars. So if you guys have a Star Wars idea for a Star Wars tattoo, go to him, man. Like, he's gonna be stoked on it. I guarantee you. He's always stoked when he does Star Wars tattoos. So you know they're gonna be good because he's putting like his like time and heart into it, So I know, and he loves Yoda. So I knew, I was like, man, like I gotta get his attention somehow. So I did something with Yoda, So then I followed the hashtag that he had put, to do, and I didn't see any posts from anyone. And I'm like, this is so weird, man. Like, he's giving out a free tattoo and like no one's putting anything? Really? But I was like, maybe I don't know. Maybe some people like are in private. Or I don't know. I don't know how this is fucking working, but I'm submitting it. So the next day he hits me back up and he goes, hey man, you win. And I was like, really? He goes, yeah, like no one else submitted anything. You're the only one that submitted. And I was like, what? Like, that's so crazy. He's like, yeah, dude, so you win. I'm like, oh, right on. Like, I was so stoked. And I was like, yo, I know exactly what I'm gonna do. So I talked to Matt, and I was like, hey Matt, this is what I want. I want Kylo Ren. I just brought him a couple pictures that I had found online. I was like, I want an American traditional Kylo Ren helmet with like flowers and his lightsaber, and I want him on my hand. And he goes, yes, like, let's do it. So he drew it up, and he came up with this design. And honestly, it's fucking beautiful. Okay, so I'm gonna turn it so you guys can see the whole thing. There he is. See, that's his lightsaber right there, and his helmet, the flowers. And honestly, it turned out better than expected. Like, it's so nice. And that's, it was commitment, man. Like, it was like, oh shit, I have like my hand tattoo. Like, I thought I had hand tattoos. No. This is a hand tattoo. And I was like, holy shit. But I love it. And honestly, every time people see it, they're like, oh my god, like, that's so nice. And I'm like, yes, I know. Like, it's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So then, he hits me up and he's like, hey man, like, look at these pictures. And he showed me a picture. It was a TIE fighter and a Star Destroyer and 2 other pictures of X-Wings. And I was like, yo, like, those are sick. He goes, hey, pick one. Let's get a tattoo on you. I was like, really? He's like, yeah, let's do it. So I picked, yes, I love the dark side, okay? But I've always loved X-Wings. X-Wings, like, I have love for X-Wings. So I picked an X-Wing. And he ended up doing this X-Wing, which, again, I posted on my Instagram. It's right there. And I'm telling you, man, this thing is beautiful. Look at that. The detail. He even put, I think right here, I don't know if you guys could see it, but he put a little head, like a little pilot, and then right there is the R2 unit. Like, look at that. It's beautiful. So, yeah, like, I got it done. I am in love with it. So, I'm seeing progress on this arm. I have a couple ideas that I want, to fill in, like, for example, like this gap right here. Down here and here. I already have right there. Yeah. So I already have, my ideas. I'm already thinking about it, and I think I'm gonna get Han Solo with his DL-44 blaster here on this side, so it'll be like that. And then on my fingers and my knuckles, I'm gonna get Kylo and then Solo. So, I'm just working through it, and I'm just trying to, like, oh man, like, what more can I do? For future projects, all I know is I want to finish both arms, get both my hands done, my knuckles. I'm probably gonna, I want something on my chest. I don't know what yet, but I want something on my chest. I want to do my left leg, so where I have my hat tattooed, I want to do my left leg, and then up to my knee, just up to there, and then to finish it all, I'm gonna get my neck done. But that's gonna be later down the road, just because I want to finish everything first, you know. But yeah, those are my tattoos. Again, I'm gonna just talk about where I got the nicer ones, just because I don't want you guys to deal with all the other bullshit. So again, my apple and my straight razor, I got done by Zumbi Nation Tattoos, Fresno, California. And then the other ones, the Star Wars ones, I got at MT Tattoos with Matt Tarkman. So if you guys don't follow him on Instagram, MT Tattoos, and then Zumbi Nation Tattoos on Instagram, go check them out wherever you guys live. If you guys live close to the Bay Area, or if you guys live close to Fresno, like, check them out. They're awesome dudes, both of them. Like, they're so great, and you know, they put in work, and it shows, you know what I mean, compared to this bullshit. So there it is. Those are my tattoos. Once I get more, I'll make another video explaining those, but so far that's it. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you guys for staying in tune. If you guys did, if you guys didn't, you're dead to me. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, those are my tattoos. If you ever meet me in person and you want to check them out and ask me more about them, I'll give you more in-depth explanation on them, which, I mean, I pretty much gave it here, but if you guys want to check them out, go for it. I'm not one of those dudes that, or one of those people that, unfortunately, you know, there's a lot of them out there that, you know, you ask them about their tattoo and they kind of get annoyed, like, oh, like, why do I have to explain myself? It's like, dude, like, if you put them on your fucking arms and your hand where everybody can see it and somebody likes it, people are gonna ask you, okay? So don't be a dick and just answer, like, come on, alright? You're not a fucking celebrity. People are just asking you about your tattoos because they like them. Take it as a compliment. Those are my tattoos, and I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys next time.